I died, choking on my own blood, the copper tang flooding my mouth as Victor's polished loafer slammed into my ribs one last time. "You think you're better than us, Remy? Playing house with that hag of a grandma?" His voice echoed in the marble foyer of our dream home, the one he'd promised would be ours forever, until it wasn't. And then, nothing. Blackness. Until the world snapped back into focus. And I was 25 again, staring at my reflection in the cracked bathroom mirror of Grandma Eleanor's rundown trailer in the sticky heat of a Mobile, Alabama summer. My hands, younger, unscarred, trembled as I touched my face. The faint scar from that night, the one where the chandelier had shattered over me, gone. The engagement ring? Not even a ghost of it on my finger. It was 2018, 3 years before the wedding that sealed my fate. Before Victor Hargrove and his Viper family sank their fangs into everything I loved. Grandma's faded floral curtains fluttered in the breeze from the open window, carrying the distant hum of cicadas and the salty whisper of Mobile Bay. I collapsed to my knees, tears streaming, not from fear, but from the cold, sharpening fury that had been my last coherent thought as I bled out. How? Why me? But questions dissolved into certainty. This was my second chance. And Victor? That smug bastard and his entitled clan, they'd pay. Every sneer, every backhanded charity check they wrote to help Grandma, every whispered plot to institutionalize her so they could save me from her draining influence. I'd been blind then, dazzled by Victor's charm, his family's old money glow in the heart of the Deep South. Now, I'd burn it all down from the inside. I stumbled into the living room, where Grandma sat in her rocking chair, knitting a lopsided scarf with yarn sheets scavenged from thrift stores. Her eyes, sharp as ever behind those thick bifocals, flicked up. "Remy, honey, you look like you've seen a ghost. Everything all right at that fancy internship?" The internship. Yeah. That was the lie I'd spun back then, fresh out of community college, clawing my way toward a business degree online while waitressing doubles at Waffle House. In truth, I'd been building something bigger, something they never saw coming. But not yet. Not until I was ready. I forced a smile, the kind that hid shark teeth. Just a bad dream. Gran. Tell me about that recipe again, the one with the cornbread and okra? She chuckled, oblivious, launching into her stories of bayou life, her voice a warm anchor in the storm raging inside me. That night, as she dozed off to reruns of Golden Girls, I pulled out my ancient laptop and started digging. Victor Hargrove III, heir to Hargrove Industries, a sprawling empire of shipping and real estate that choked the Gulf Coast like kudzu. His family, Mother Lydia, the Ice Queen socialite, Father Harlan, the cutthroat CEO, Sister Tessa, the trust fund mean girl who'd once accidentally spilled red wine on Grandma's only good dress at a garden party. In my first life, I'd met Victor at a charity gala in Birmingham, me, the wide-eyed nobody from the trailer park, him the golden boy slumming it for good PR. He swept me off my feet with whispers of love, promises of escaping the poverty that clung to Grandma like damp moss. But it was all a setup. They'd discovered my potential, not the trailer trash they assumed, but the quiet empire I'd been bootstrapping in secret. A tech startup, AI-driven logistics software that could have revolutionized their outdated shipping ops. Instead, they isolated me, gaslit me into signing over equity, then framed Grandma as the unstable burden to force me into a psych eval. The fall down the stairs? No accident. Victor's doing. To end the drama before the board vote. I slammed the laptop shut, heart pounding. This time, I'd play their game. I'd let Victor find me at that gala. I'd say yes to the ring. But every step, a landmine of my own making. The next 3 years blurred into a calculated dance. I aced my degree, funneled every tip into my startup, now called Bayou Bite, a lean operation run from Grandma's kitchen table. We coded algorithms that predicted shipping delays better than any Hargrove exec, but I kept it underground, freelancing for small firms to build cred without drawing eyes. Victor reappeared like clockwork, that boyish grin masking the predator beneath. Our first date, oysters at Felix's in the French Quarter. His hand on mine, eyes gleaming. You're different, Remy. Real. Not like these plastic dolls back home. I laughed, the sound brittle even to me. Yeah? What's a girl from the bayou got that they don't? You, he said, leaning in. Fire. Fire. I'd give him flames. We dated in secret at first, his family's rules. The image to maintain. Stolen weekends in New Orleans jazz clubs, where I'd let him think he was corrupting me with Sazeracs and late-night beignets. But I was watching, learning their rhythms. Lydia's brunches at the country club, where she'd dissect lesser families over mimosas. Harlan's boardroom rants about disruptors like Amazon eating their lunch. Tessa's Instagram feeds, dripping with passive-aggressive posts about true Southern hospitality that never included folks like us. Grandma noticed the change in me. Of course. You're schemin', child, she'd say, peering over her glasses as I pored over contracts. Don't let that boy dim your light. Never. Gran, I'd reply, kissing her forehead. She was my North Star, the one who'd raised me after Mom OD'd on pills when I was 8. Dad long gone to some oil rig in the North Sea. Her Social Security and odd sewing jobs kept the lights on, but the trailer leaked, and the AC wheezed like an old man in July. The Hargroves? They'd seen it once, during a surprise visit early on. Lydia's nose wrinkled at the peeling paint, Tessa snapping pics for inspo on rustic decay. Victor promised to fix it all. Lies. By the time Victor proposed, on a yacht off Dauphin Island, sunset painting the water gold, I was ready. The ring was a rock. 3 carats of their gilt money. I said yes. Tears in my eyes, real ones. For the girl I'd been. The engagement party loomed. A Hargrove spectacle at their Gulf Shores estate. That's where it'd start unraveling for them. But first, I needed armor. Bayou Bite had hit a milestone. Our beta software, licensed to a mid-tier logistics firm in Houston, pulling in 6 figures. I'd incorporated quietly. Shares locked in a trust with Grandma as beneficiary, irrevocable. This time. No more signing away my soul for love. And the twist? I'd poached a Hargrove engineer, a disgruntled whistleblower named Jax, feeding me insider docs on their crumbling finances. Embezzlement rumors swirled around Harlan. Lydia's charities were fronts for tax dodges. Ammo. All of it. The morning of the party, I helped Grandma into her Sunday best, a lavender dress from Goodwill, pearls I'd bought her for her birthday. Her hands shook as she pinned her hair. They won't like me, Remy. Folks like that. They smell different money. They'll love you. I lied, smoothing her collar. Because I do. The drive to Gulf Shores was silent torture. The Escalade Victor sent idling like a beast outside the trailer. We pulled up to the mansion, white columns. Infinity pool overlooking the Emerald Gulf, a monument to old oil wealth. Valet took the keys. A butler in starched white escorted us through French doors to a lawn strung with fairy lights. Guests milled, senators' wives in Chanel, oil barons puffing cigars. Tessa holding court by the oyster bar in a dress that screamed bridezilla chic. Victor spotted us first, striding over in linen slacks, all teeth and charm. "There's my girls." He air-kissed Grandma's cheek, the gesture stiff. "Eleanor, you look radiant." "Remy, babe, you outshine the stars." Grandma mumbled thanks, clutching her purse like a shield. I squeezed her arm, scanning the crowd. Lydia approached, martini in hand, her smile a scalpel. "Darling, you brought her?"
How?
Thoughtful. "Eleanor."
Was it?
"We've heard so much." "All good, I hope," Grandma replied. "Chin up." Lydia's laugh tinkled like breaking glass.
Oh.
"Absolutely. Victor says you're quite the storyteller." "Bayou Tales?" "Yes." The hook was set. Dinner was served under a tent. Shrimp étouffée, crab claws, pecan pie for days. We were seated at the family table, Victor to my left, Grandma across from Tessa. Harlan boomed greetings, slapping backs, but his eyes on Grandma were appraising, like she was a fixer-upper. Conversation flowed. Stocks, yacht clubs, the latest scandal with the governor. Then Tessa leaned in, voice syrup-sweet. "Eleanor, tell us, how did you end up in that charming little trailer? Family heirloom." The table hushed. Victor shifted uncomfortably. Grandma's fork paused midair.
Well,
"Tessa, after my husband passed, heart attack on the rig, times got lean. But home's home. We make do." "Make do," Tessa echoed,
smirking.
"Adorable." "Remy, you're so brave."
Escaping that.
"Victor's saving you." "Really?" My blood iced. This was it, the first jab in my first life. I'd laughed it off then, defended weakly. Now?
No.
I set my napkin down, the linen crisp under my fingers, and met Tessa's gaze head-on. The tense lanterns cast shadows that danced like demons on her Botox-smooth face. "Actually, Tessa, Gran's not the one who needs saving. She's the strongest person I know. Raised me single-handed after my folks bailed. That's more than most here can claim without a trust fund propping them up." A ripple went through the table, forks clinking to a stop, eyes widening. Victor's hand tightened on my thigh under the table. A warning squeeze. Lydia's martini glass hovered, her lips parting in that faux-shock Southern Belle way. Harlan cleared his throat, chuckling low. "Feisty tonight, Remy." "Pass the wine." But Tessa wasn't done. She flipped her extensions, glancing at the crowd.
Oh.
"Honey, it's not a dig.
Just
reality. Not everyone's cut out for this life. Eleanor's sweet, but trailers aren't estates. Right, Dad? Remember Aunt Millie's phase with the off-grid nonsense? Ended in divorce." Grandma's face flushed, her knuckles white on her glass. I saw it, the flicker of shame she'd buried deep, the one that made her skip meals to pay my tuition. In my first life, I'd shrunk, apologized for her. Let them paint her as the punchline. Not tonight. Reality. I echoed, voice steady as steel. Let's talk reality. Like how estates like this were built on backs like Gran's family, sharecroppers who picked cotton till their fingers bled, while folks like yours sipped juleps on verandas. Or how phases like Aunt Millie's are luxuries the rest of us call survival. Gran didn't choose the trailer. The system chose it for her. And me, I'm damn proud to come from grit, not guilt. The silence was thunderous. A senator's wife gasped audibly. Victor hissed under his breath. Remy, what the hell? But I pressed on.
Turning to Grandma.
Tell them.
Gran.
About the Hurricane Katrina. How you waded through waist-deep water to save neighbors, while the big houses boarded up and waited for feds. Her eyes met mine, surprise melting into pride. She straightened, voice gaining strength. Lost everything that storm. House. Savings. But we rebuilt.
Community did.
Not handouts from clubs that pat themselves on the back for a check here and there. Lydia interjected. Voice honeyed venom. Eleanor.
Dear.
No one's denying hardship. But charity, true philanthropy, lifts people up. Like our foundation. We've sponsored scholarships. You know.
For.
Girls like Remy. The implication hung. Girls like us. The charity cases. My startup pulsed in my mind. Bayou, byte now valued at 7 figures.
Algorithms i dècada i la gran solet.
Predicting Gulf storms better than Noah. They'd sponsor me. I'd buy their foundation by Christmas. I smiled.
Cold.
Philanthropy. Noble. But let's be real, it's often just PR for tax breaks. Gran doesn't need lifting, she needs respect. And if that's too trailer park for y'all, maybe check your own foundations. Cracks show when you build on sand. Harlan's face reddened, but he barked a laugh. Sharp tongue on this one. Victor. You'll tame her. Victor forced a grin, pulling me close. She's passionate. That's why I love her. But his eyes screamed murder. The rest of dinner dragged, small talk laced with barbs, guests whispering behind fans. Grandma ate little, but her hand found mine under the table, squeezing thanks. Later, by the pool,
Victor cornered me.
Moonlight silvered the water, mocking the chill between us. What was that? You humiliated them, my family. On our night. Your family started it. I shot back. Heart racing not from fear, but thrill. Tessa baited her. I defended what's mine. He paced, running hands through his hair. They're traditional. Remy. Old school. You can't just call out the sins of the fathers at the dinner table. Dad's deals built this state. Deals? I stepped closer, voice low. Like the ones where Hargrove ships dump waste in bayou waters. Poisoning fisheries folks like Gran rely on? Or the union busting that left workers like my uncle jobless? Spare me the heritage lecture. His eyes narrowed, the mask slipping. Where's this coming from? You're not. This bitter. Bitter? Try reborn. I'm awake. Victor. And if your family's so solid, why the whispers about Harlan's investments in offshore accounts? IRS sniffing around. He froze. What the fuck? You spying now? Just listening. I lied smoothly. Jax's docs burned in my purse, emails proving Harlan siphoned millions into Cayman shells. Love you. But eyes open. Marry me. And it's us against the world. But hurt Gran? We're done. He pulled me into a kiss then. Desperate. Tasting of bourbon and fear. Never.
Babe.
You're my world.
Lies.
But I let him.
For now.
The fallout hit like a squall. Tessa's text blew up my phone. Slum it with the hag. See if we care. White trash wedding. Lydia called the next day. Voice syrup over sandpaper. Remy. Darling. A word? Family meeting at the club. Smooth things over. I agreed. Dropping Gran at bingo with a wink. The mobile country club oozed privilege. Golf greens rolling to the bay. Waiters in bow ties serving sweet tea, like communion. The Hargroves held court in a private booth, Harlan nursing scotch. Lydia fanning herself. Tessa scrolling TikTok with a scowl. Victor sat beside me, hand possessive on my knee. Remy, Harlan started. Gravel voice. Last night was spirited. But family's family. We look out for ours. Eleanor's welcome, within reason. Reason? I arched a brow. Like what? A generous offer to relocate her to assisted living? I heard that pitch before. Lydia blinked. Who told? It's for her safety.
Dear.
That trailer's a hazard. We'd cover it. Of course. Of course. In my first life, I'd caved. Sign the papers. Thinking it mercy. They upgraded her to a facility an hour away, understaffed. Maggoty food, while Victor isolated me in Birmingham. She withered there, alone, while I miscarried our miracle baby from stress. Dead by my hand in rage. But they're poison. No, I said flatly. Gran staying put. And if y'all want in-law points, start with respect. Not relocation schemes. Tessa snorted. Schemes?
God.
You're paranoid. Like your grandma's some treasure. She's a liability. Victor's grip tightened. Tessa. But I was on fire. Liability? Says the girl who crashed Daddy's Porsche at 19 and got a new one for her birthday. Or you. Harlan, bankrolling anti-union pacts while preaching family values. Hypocrisy's the real hazard here. Harlan slammed his glass down. Enough. You think you know us? Little trailer girl with big mouth. Victor. Leash her or lose her. Victor flushed. Dad. I stood. Chair scraping. Leash?
Cute.
But newsflash. I'm not a dog. And if this is family.
Count me out.
I stormed out. Heels clicking on marble. Heart hammering. Victor chased. Grabbing my arm in the valet lot. Remy.
Stop.
You're blowing it all. I whirled. Blowing what? A toxic merger? Wake up, they see me as an upgrade. Not equal. Gran's collateral. He softened, pulling me close. I see you. All of you. Forgive them. For me. The plea worked barely. I nodded, but inside, war drums beat. That night, I emailed Jax. Accelerate the buyout. Target, Hargrove's logistics division. Months blurred into engagement fever. Victor proposed damage control, a unity luncheon at the estate. Gran included. I agreed. Wiring Bayou Bites' latest funding round into a shell company, Eclipse Holdings. We'd shadow their bids. Undercut silently. Grandma thrived amid the tension. Her garden blooming with okra and tomatoes. Proud of you. Girl, she'd say. Shelling peas on the porch. Stand tall. The luncheon was a minefield. Catered crawfish boil on the lawn. Zydeco band thumping. Guests, allies, influencers. Gran in a new dress I bought, simple, elegant. Tessa sulked by the bar, Lydia overcompensated with hugs. Eleanor, you must try the remoulade. Gran smiled warily. Smells like home. Harlan cornered me by the grill. Truce. Remy. Victor's smitten. But business, keep it separate. Heard rumors of some startup sniffing our routes. My pulse spiked. Rumors? Or fact? Innovations coming. Harlan. Adapt or sink. He chuckled. But eyes were steel. We built this coast. Little coders don't scare us.
Yet.
As plates cleared, Tessa struck again louder. Liquored. Eleanor. Spill. Ever win the lottery? Or just welfare queen vibes? The band faltered. Guests turned. Gran's face crumpled. I surged forward, voice slicing the air. Tessa. Shut your privileged mouth. Gran worked rigs. Cleaned houses for families like yours while you were in diapers. She's more American dream than your Birkin bag collection.
Gasps.
Victor yanked me back. Remy, but Lydia piled on. Darling, it's a joke. Lighten up.
Joke.
I laughed bitterly. Like the one where you jokingly suggested Gran's folksy wisdom for your blog? Newsflash, she's not your mascot. Harlan boomed. Enough. This alliance ends here if. Alliance? I cut in. It's a takeover. Harlan. And you're losing. The party fractured, guests murmuring, slipping away. Victor dragged me inside, slamming the study door. You're ruining us. What happened to the girl I met? She died, I whispered, truth slipping free. And this one's fighting back. He stared, then softened. Fight with me, not against.
Tempting. But no.
That night, Eclipse bid on their first contract, and won. The wins piled up like storm debris after that luncheon, small at first. Eclipse sniping peripheral deals, a warehousing contract in Pensacola, a route optimization gig for a rival shipper in Tampa. Jax fed me gold, Harlan's slush funds, Lydia's Ponzi-esque foundations, Tessa's coke-fueled parties with NDAs. I wove it into a web. Anonymous tips to reporters at the Mobile Register. Leaks to SEC watchdogs. Victor noticed the strain. Hargrove stock dipping 2%. Board meetings tense, but blamed market jitters. Our wedding planning became his escape. Vera, Wong gown fittings in Atlanta. Venue scouting at historic mansions along the bay. I played the part, Pinterest boards of magnolia blooms. Monogrammed invites, while coding late into nights. Gran brewing chicory coffee as my co-conspirator. Like chess. Remy, she'd say. Moving salt shakers across the formica table. Queen protects the pawns. You're my rook. Gran, I'd reply, kissing her cheek. She didn't know the half, the blood on my digital hands, but her faith fueled me. Friction escalated at the next family summit, a weekend at their Dauphin Island beach house, ostensibly for rehearsal dinner menus. The place was paradise poisoned, wraparound porch overlooking dunes, infinity pool merging with the Gulf, but haunted by my memories. In life one, this was where Victor first hit me after I questioned a business trip to Miami with Tessa's friend. A backhand, then apologies drowned in rose.
Now.
I walked those creaky boards with eyes wide open. Arrival was theatrical. Our rented SUV crunching shells in the drive. Gran clutching a pie she'd baked, pecan, from our tree. Victor unloaded luggage, whistling off-key. Home sweet second home. Ladies. Inside. The air was thick with magnolia and malice. Lydia greeted us in kaftan chic, air kissing Gran like a distant cousin. Eleanor.
Pie?
How quaint. We'll save it for staff. Harlan boomed from the den, cigar in hand. Remy. Heard about that little spat. Water under the bridge.
Now.
About the prenup. Prenup? Victor tensed beside me. Harlan waved it off. Standard. Son. Protects the legacy. I laughed.
Sharp.
Legacy? Or fear I'll dilute the bloodline with bayou mud. Tessa, lounging by the slider in a barely there bikini, cackled. Mud? More like swamp water. But hey, diversity points for the gram. Gran set the pie down. Voice quiet but iron. Y'all eat humble pie much? Tastes bitter. The room stilled. Lydia recovered first. Charming. Dinner at 7 catered. Of course. The afternoon dragged, bonding on the beach. Victor tossing a frisbee I pretended to chase. Gran shelling sand dollars with wide-eyed awe. But undercurrents pulled. Tessa cornered her by the waves, voice carrying on the breeze. Admit it. Eleanor, you're gold digging through Remy. Trailer trash special. Gran straightened, salt-stiff hair whipping. Gold? Child. I've mined harder dirt than your heart. Remy's heart led her here, not my wallet. I overheard from the dunes. Fists clenched. Intervene? Or let Gran shine? She did, walking away tall as the lighthouse. Dinner was surf and turf purgatory, lobster tails.
Filet.
Wine flowing like the bayou after rain. Seated family style. Toasts clinked, Harlan's to new blood, Lydia's to blessings. Then Tessa, slurring slightly, to Remy, escaping the holler. And Eleanor. May your stories inspire our charity drive. Snickers rippled. Victor shot her a look. Enough. I rose, glass in hand. To family. The kind that builds, not breaks. Gran taught me that, working dawn to dusk while charities like yours photograph the poor for likes. Real strength isn't in boardrooms or beach houses. It's in surviving storms you never see coming. Harlan's fork dropped. Storms? Girl, we've weathered worse than your fairy tales. Fairy tales. I leaned in. Like the one where Hargrove weathers environmental regs by bribing inspectors? Or survives by crushing startups that innovate too close. Victor paled. Remy. Lydia gasped. Where's this coming from? Truth, I said. And it's washing up. Check your stocks tomorrow. Chaos erupted, Tessa hurling accusations. Harlan storming out. Victor dragging me to the porch. You're destroying everything. Who are you? The woman you never knew, I hissed. The one who sees you, all of you, for the frauds you are. He grabbed my shoulders, eyes wild. I love you. Stop this. Love, in life won. It blinded me.
Now.
It was bait. I twisted free, voice breaking for effect. Prove it. Stand up to them.
For me.
For us. He deflated,
Nodding.
I will. Tomorrow. But tomorrow brought leaks. Register headline. Hargrove embezzlement probe deepens. Stock plunged 8%. Harlan blamed saboteurs. Eyes on me. Victor defended weakly, then cracked under pressure, echoing their doubts. Maybe the prenup's smart. Remy. Just in case. Betrayal's first crack. I feigned hurt, retreating to Gran in the guest room. They're scared. Child, she soothed, braiding my hair like when I was 10. Fear makes monsters. Not of us, I murmured. Of what's coming. The wedding neared, 6 months out. Invitations embossed and sent. Bayou Bite, now Eclipse, swallowed their logistics arm in a hostile bid, masked as a friendly merger. I played distraught fiancé by day, cyber vandal by night, doxing Tessa's dealer anonymous. Of course. Feeding IRS leads on Harlan shells. Victor grew distant. Boardroom battles wearing him thin. Dad's raging, he'd vent. Says we're under attack. From who? I'd ask innocently. Ghosts, he'd mutter, kissing my forehead. Lies eroded us. Doubts festered. Then the gala, the one where we'd met. Full circle. Birmingham's Hyatt. Chandeliers dripping light. Black ties and gowns swirling. Victor in tux. Me in emerald silk that hugged like armor. Gran stayed home. Too much fuss, but her pie tin sat in my clutch.
Talisman.
We worked the room. Handshakes with donors. Photos with Pauls. Then Harlan pulled Victor aside. Whispers fierce. I eavesdropped from the bar. Nursing gin. That bitch knows too much. A call off the wedding. Or we cut you out. Dad. Legacy.
Boy.
Not some mudblood revenge plot. Mudblood. The slur hit like a slap. Victor glanced my way, guilt flashing. He nodded, barely, but it was enough. Rage boiled. I slipped away. Texting Jax. Pull the trigger. Full exposure. By dessert. Phones buzzed. Alerts everywhere. Hargrove scandal. CEO embezzles millions. Firm faces collapse. Photos leaked. Harlan with briefcases in shadows. Lydia at gala fundraisers pocketing checks. Tessa's arrest mentioned. Possession.
For my tip.
Panic rippled. Harlan bolted, yelling into his cell. Lydia fainted dramatically into a chair. Tessa screamed, "It's her, that trailer whore." Victor turned to me, face ashen. "Remy. Did you?" The room spun, accusations flying, security swarming. I met his eyes.
Calm.
You chose them. Always did. He staggered back. What are you? Free. I walked out, heels echoing, into the rain-slick Birmingham night. Gran waited in the lobby, uninvited, but there, fierce in her raincoat. Knew you'd need backup. We drove home silent, radio humming blues. Eclipse owned them now, bankruptcy looming. But Victor? One loose end. The empire crumbled like overbaked cornbread in the weeks that followed, Hargrove Industries hemorrhaging jobs. Headlines screaming betrayal from every porch swing in the South. Harlan holed up in a condo in Panama City. Lawyers circling like gulls over chum. Lydia sold her jewelry on eBay, posting passive-aggressive stories about false friends.
Tessa?
Rehab in Malibu. Her feed gone dark. Last post a tear-streaked selfie captioned, "Betrayed family first." Victor called daily at first, voicemails slurred with bourbon. Begging. Remy.
Talk.
We can fix this. Then silence. Broken only by a single text. Was it all a lie?
No.
I typed back once. The love was real. The revenge? Necessary. Gran and I fortified the trailer. New roof. Solar panels from my first Eclipse dividend. She gardened furiously. Tomatoes bursting red as vindication. Neighbors gossiped. That Remy girl? Took down the Hargroves single-handed. I waved it off. But inside?
Triumph sang.
Bayou Bite exploded. Acquisitions rolling in. VCs knocking from Silicon Valley. I hired Jax full-time, built a team of overlooked coders from Bayou towns. We're the disruptors now, I told them at our first all-hands in a rented co-working space overlooking the bay. But ghosts lingered. Victor. He resurfaced at the courthouse, his deposition, leaked online. I watched from a coffee shop. Screen glowing, him in ill-fitting suit, sweating under fluorescence, admitting to overlooking Dad's irregularities. Eyes hollow. The boy I'd loved eroded to a shell. Part of me ached, the girl who'd believed in forever. But the woman I'd become? She whispered.
He chose.
Then the call. Unknown number. His voice cracked. Remy.
Please.
Meet me. One last time. Against Gran's warnings, snake shed skin. Not fangs, I agreed. Neutral ground, a dive bar off I-10. Neon flickering, oysters and beer, in the humid dusk. He waited in a booth. Unshaven. Nursing a PBR. No golden boy glow, just defeat. You look good, he said. Voice rough. Powerful. I slid in opposite, ordering sweet tea. Cut the charm. What? He leaned forward, eyes pleading.
Why?
I loved you. We were building something. Loved, I scoffed. You tolerated. Planned to warehouse Gran, dilute my shares, keep me pretty on your arm. I heard you, Victor. At the beach house. Mudblood. He flinched. Dad's words. Not mine. I fought. Barely. I pulled out my phone, playing the audio, snagged by Jax's bug during the summit. His nod.
Clear as day.
Harlan's slur. Then Victor's silence. Tears welled. I was scared. The pressure. But I chose wrong. Forgive me. The old me would have melted. Now, forgiveness isn't free. You destroyed us, me.
Gran.
For what? Legacy. Not anymore. He slid a folder across. Divorce papers?
No.
Resignation from the board. Whistleblower affidavit. I'm testifying. Full truth. Take them down. For you. Twist of the knife. Was it real? Or desperation? I scanned. Detailed. Damning. Harlan's ledgers. Lydia's fakes. Enough to bury them forever.
Why?
I asked. Because you were right.
Fire.
And I let it burn me. I took the folder.
Standing.
Too late.
But.
Thanks. At the door, I paused. Heal. Victor. Or don't. Your choice. Outside. Rain lashed the lot. I drove home. Folder burning in my lap. Gran waited with gumbo steaming. Verdict. Checkmate, I said, but voice wavered. She pulled me close. Proud. Baby. But don't let hate hollow you. Hate? It had forged me. But as Eclipse boomed, IPO whispers. TED Talks on Southern Silicon. Emptiness crept. Dates fizzled. Tech bros too slick. Locals too odd. Nights. I'd dream of the foyer. Blood pooling. Victor's loafer descending. Then the gala invite, our gala. Now mine as Eclipse sponsor. Birmingham again. Chandeliers mocking. I went alone. In crimson that screamed survivor. Mingle. Pitch. Conquer. Until him, Harlan, gaunt in rented tux, cornering me by the ice sculpture. Remy, he rasped.
Bitch.
You ruined us. Us. I swirled champagne. You ruined yourselves. Greed.
Lies.
I just turned on the lights. He lunged, sloppy, Scotch-fueled, grabbing my wrist. I'll expose you. The trailer rat who. Security swarmed, but not before gasps rippled. Victor burst from the crowd, pulling him back.
Dad.
Stop. Harlan whirled. You? Traitor son. Fists flew, Harlan swinging wild, Victor dodging, pleading. It's over. For all of us. Chaos. Calls to 911. Guests fleeing. I slipped out. Heart pounding, not fear, but closure. News next day. Harlan arrested. Assault charges atop fraud. Victor? Press conference. Tearful. Time to atone. Twist. His affidavit sealed it. Hargrove dissolved. Assets seized. Lydia fled to Europe. Tessa to obscurity. Victor? Community service. Therapy. Clean, but broken.
Me?
Eclipse hit unicorn status. HQ in a renovated warehouse by the bay. Views for Grand's office. Window overlooking her garden. She moved in. Rocking chair by my desk. Fancy. But smells like home. The wedding that wasn't became my rebirth gala, friends. Not phonies. Toast to grit. Not guile. But as confetti fell, phone buzzed. Victor. Saw the news.
Congrats.
You deserved it all. I didn't reply. Instead, I danced with Gran, Zydeco thumping, her laugh free. Yet sleep evaded. Doubts whispered. Was revenge justice? Or just another cage? Months turned to a year. The Hargrove dust settling like silt after a flood, opaque, but fertile for new growth. Eclipse dominated Gulf logistics. Our AI forecasting not just shipments, but community needs, free coding camps in trailer parks, storm response drones for bayou towns. Gran became unofficial mascot. Her folksy wisdom in board meetings, don't count chickens or containers till they hatch. Reporters dubbed me Bayou Queen, profiles in Forbes gushing over the rags to riches revenge saga. I hated the gloss, they missed the grit. The grave I'd clawed from. Victor faded to footnotes, a podcast on fallen heirs, then silence. Rumors, therapy in Austin. Dating a barista half his age. Good for him. Or not. I didn't check. But scars itched. Anniversaries of that foyer fall triggered sweats, waking gasping. Phantom pain in ribs. Gran noticed. Brewing chamomile at 3 a.m. Ghosts. Remy? Send them packing with salt. Salt. I laughed weakly. Bayou magic. And truth. She paused. Eyes wise. You won.
Child.
But winning's lonely if you carry the war alone. She was right. I dated tentatively, an engineer from New Orleans, jazz musician with calloused hands. Sparks, but no fire. You're holding back, he said one night, over po' boys at Acme. Like you're waiting for the other shoe.
Boot.
Actually, I quipped. But he was gone by fall. Then the letter, handwritten, postmarked Birmingham. Victor's scrawl. Remy. Words fail. But I'll try. A year clean. Therapy's a bitch. Unpacks the rot dad instilled. The fear mom modeled. I see it now. I was the monster.
Not you.
The push. The lies. The silence. You died that night in my nightmares. Anyway. And I buried you with denial. No asks.
Just sorry.
And this, the island house.
Deeded to you. Sell.
Burn.
Build.
Yours. Victor. Enclosed. Keys. Title. Dolphin Island, the poison porch. Wave whispered lies. I drove there alone. Gran urging. Face the tide. The house loomed, salt-eaten but standing. Inside, echoes of rose toasts. Backhands. I wandered rooms. Ghosts thick, our laughter. His rage. In the study, a bottle of my favorite Sazerac. Note taped. One last drink?
For old times.
Tempted.
Poured.
Sipped on the porch as sunset bled orange into gulf. Waves crash judgment. Why this? Guilt? Or hook? Headlights pierce dusk, his truck. Battered Ford. He stepped out. Hesitant. In jeans and flannel. Sober eyes. Lines etched deeper. Saw the light, he said. Hoped. I nodded to the rail.
Sit.
Talk. We did. Hours unraveling. His therapy confessions. Narcissistic parents. His complicity. I pushed you because I feared losing control. Like Dad. My turn. The death. The rebirth not literal. I spun, truth too wild. But awakening. You killed the girl who trusted blindly. I rebuilt from ashes. He nodded. Tears tracking.
Deserved. But.
If forgiveness is a door, is it cracked? I studied him broken, but mending. The fire in him, banked, not out. Gran's words echoed, don't let hate hollow you. Maybe, I said. But slow. No rings. No rushes. He smiled.
Faint. Deal.
We didn't kiss. Drove separate. But texted, coffee? Doubt nagged. Trust?
Earned.
Not given. But possibility flickered. Back home. Gran grilled. Snake or reformed? Time tells, I said. It did. Coffee became walks. Walks dinners. He volunteered at Eclipse camps, teaching kids code with humility. No grand gestures. Just steady. Tessa resurfaced, sober. Apologetic email. Hated who I was. Thanks for the shove. Lydia? A postcard from Provence. Reflections. Harlan rotted in club fed. Appeals denied. My dreams eased, less blood. More Bayou light. Eclipse went public. Shares soaring. Gran and I toasted on the porch. Her rocking. Me in CEO armor. One night. Post-gala mine now. No scandals. Victor waited outside, rain slick. Hopeful. Dance? Zydeco from inside thumped. I took his hand. We swayed clumsy, laughing at missteps. Second chances, he murmured. I pulled back, searching his eyes. Don't waste it. I won't. Twist, no fairy tale. But growth. I defended Gran, not from fiancés, but foes within. Reveal my job? The world knew. CEO. Avenger. Survivor. And in that, happy not perfect, but whole. The bayou whispered approval. Cicadas cheering. We'd built better. From ruins. Fade to waves. Endless.